What's up? I'm G Jones, and this is I Need to Make Better Decisions. So, years ago, when I was younger, I wanted to get a tattoo. Now, I didn't know what I wanted to get, but my cousin comes through, he gets a tattoo. This is the time period when people are getting the Chinese characters. So, you would see people with a Chinese character on the back of their neck. They might have one here on their chest, they might have one on their arm, have one in their hand, whatever. So, we go ahead and we decide to get the same thing he has. He shows it to us. It's on his arm up here. He says it means fear no man. We go to the same tattoo shop that he went to. When we go there, the tattoo guy is a white biker. That should have been a red flag right there. White biker doing Chinese letters. I don't know. We get the tattoo done, which is this tattoo here. And when we get this tattoo done, we go back and show him because I went and got one, and two of our cousins went and got one. So now the four of us got the same tattoo. But when we show him the tattoo, he looks at his and he says, something's different. I say, what's different? On one of these characters, he's got like another little line. We don't think anything about it. Time goes on, probably about 15 years. I'm working at a restaurant. I'm a cook. So during my little breaks, I go out back, smoke a little blunt. But right next door, connected to the same strip section that we were in, was a novelty store. Chinese guy, his wife, his daughter. Chinese guy didn't speak any English, but he would always see me outside and he would always look at me when I was smoking the weed. So one day I said to him, "You want to hit?" He said, "Huh?" I said, "Yeah." He hits it. So now me and him, we got a smoking relationship. He comes outside, I pass him a blunt. I don't speak Chinese, he doesn't speak English. We both speak marijuana. That was what we had in common. Time goes on, he starts to buy weed off me. One day I come outside and I got a short sleeve shirt on. And he looks at my arm. And he looks and his eyes get big. And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh, this? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it. He's like, so I don't think anything of it. I can't even ask him what he sees in it because he doesn't speak English. So now we fast forward another 5 years. This is 20 years after I got this tattoo. I go to prison on an indictment and I'm in federal holding. And when I'm in federal holding, I come across this Chinese guy. He's a guard. He sees me every day. He sees me and he looks at me crazy. He gives me this look. And one day I'm coming into the Sally port and he's staring at me and his eyes get big. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, nothing, sir. Sir. I said, what's going on? He says, nothing. Hey, what does that mean on your arm? I said, oh, it means fear no man. He says, no, that's not what it means. I'm like, well, what does it mean? He says, you know those things that you guys in America put dead bodies in? I'm like, what? He was like, I don't know what it's called, but you guys put dead bodies. I'm like, a coffin? He's like, yeah, coffin. I said, okay. He said, what your tattoo says is coffin boss. My tattoo says coffin boss? He's like, yeah. I was like, no, it's supposed to say fear no man. He says, no, that's not what it says. It says coffin boss. I'm like, fuck. It's been 20 years. I've been telling people this means fear no man. This whole time it means coffin boss. I said, this is crazy. He said, no, it's badass. I said, it's not badass. It's not what I paid for. It's not badass. He says, it's badass. He was like, I always wondered if you kill people. I said, ain't this about a bitch? So now, a couple weeks go by. This Chinese guy comes into federal holding. He comes into federal holding because he was coming from China and he was trying to smuggle exotic snakes into the United States. So apparently he made them get real cold where they would start to hibernate. He flew out of China, flies into Buffalo. When he flies into Buffalo, they find the exotic snakes, and he gets a federal case for it. So he comes to the holding place, speaks a little bit of broken English, and he sees me. He looks at my arm. So when he looks at my arm, I'm like, he knows what this shit means. So he sees me for about 3 days, and one day I'm sitting down at a table. He said, "Is it okay if I sit with you?" I said, "Yeah, you can sit down here. It's all good." He sits down and he keeps looking at me. And every time I look at him, he puts his head down. And I said, "Man, what's up, man? What's going on, man?" He says, "I don't want you to take this the wrong way." I said, "Okay, what's up?" He said, You're not going to kill me or anything." I said, "No, why would you say that?" He said, "Because your tattoo on your arm. So now's my chance to see if what this other Chinese guy said is true." So I say, "Yeah, it means fear no man." He said, "It doesn't mean that." I said, "What does it mean?" He says, "Word for word. You know that thing that you Americans put dead bodies in?" I said, "A coffin?" He says, "Yeah, the coffin." He says, "Your tattoo says coffin boss." My word, right hand. I'm like, "No, it's supposed to say fear no man." He says, "No, it says coffin boss." I said, "That's not what I paid for." Once again, word for word. "No, no, it's badass. I thought you were a killer." I'm like, "What?" So anybody out there that has Chinese letters on their body, you need to go find a Chinese person and see if that really means what you think it means on your arm, on your boob, if you're a girl, on your neck. If you got it on your face, you don't know what you got going on. You need to go get that checked out, see what that is, because it's probably not what you think it is, especially if you got it done by an American biker like I did. And right then and there, I knew I need to make better decisions.